how do you end up with an ice hockey team from Puerto Rico? You're gonna have a lot of people saying, we don't have snow. There's more Puerto Ricans living in the snow belt of the US than actually here in the island, which has driven a lot of the interest on representing Puerto Rico.
From a logical perspective, seems to be a little bit illogical. Why would you bring ice to a Caribbean nation? And it's extremely simple. It's to represent Puerto Rico at the highest level possible on the international stage.
We played a National Hockey League game here in 2006, and the possibilities that held to grow our game. I truly believe what sport can do for kids, how sports brings people together, and these games, they just break down barriers.
I don't think it's fair to say that it's not in our culture. I don't think that it's been a big part of our history, but I think that I'm living proof that it's in our culture. In order to have culture, we need to constantly adapt and constantly change and grow that culture. I don't think that culture is something that is stagnant and that stays the same. It's just a matter of accessibility. The resources and the infrastructure, as that comes, everything else will come with it. I mean, we're ready, we're growing it, whether it's on rollerblades, whether it's on synthetic ice, and eventually whether it's on real ice. Culturally, I think 10 years, this is a totally different conversation.
Esto es hockey.
Esto es hockey.
This is hockey.
Esto es hockey.
Esto es hockey.
This is hockey, Puerto Rico.
Every time we address that I preside a winter sports federation for Puerto Rico, well, everybody laughs. At the beginning, it's the first reaction because they just think about the Caribbean and the beaches. And they go like, how the heck do you end up managing a winter sports federation? It's just hilarious for everybody. My name is Antonio Colon, and I'm the president of the Puerto Rico Winter Athletes Federation. What we do is that we provide either Puerto Rican-born or up to second-generation Puerto Ricans to basically represent the island. Or on the other hand, if you become a resident of Puerto Rico, you could represent Puerto Rico both at a national and international level. It was a little bit hard at the beginning to try to convince the Puerto Rico Olympic Committee, but once they realized that we were carrying a very serious project, they've been very supportive ever since. A couple of years ago, I got a call from Scott Vargas, basically telling me we have an initiative to create a hockey team for Puerto Rico. So after those first experiences where everybody laughed, now nobody laughs because he was way beyond anything I expected from an organization level, the way they were actually capturing new athletes. I think the hero of this whole process is Scott.
My name is Scott Vargas, and I am the president and founder of the Puerto Rico Ice Hockey Association. The story of Prija really goes back to my childhood. My father was born in San Juan. He grew up in Levittown here in Puerto Rico. He then went over to Tampa, Florida. He didn't know anything about ice hockey, had never watched it, but the Lightning came to be in 1991, the same year I was born.
The brightest stars on the sports horizon, herein, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
When I was about 4 years old, I was hooked, like many. And if you fast forward to now, with the state of Prija and all of our athlete members, there's a lot of people that share very similar experiences to me. Their parents are extremely prideful of their heritage, and they've passed that down. The culture is an important part of their life, and then that gets blended with ice hockey. We never necessarily thought that we'd get directly involved and ultimately make that a reality or become part of the IIHF, but slowly that became to develop into a reality. For me, I had finished playing hockey, competitively. I played a couple of years in Finland, and I was now in my career and had an opportunity to compete on a team and represent Puerto Rico in 2019. That moment was really what triggered everything that happened next. I think it was still the most significant moment I ever had on the ice. The culture and my heritage, my roots connected with the sport that I've grown to love over many years and has shaped almost every part of my life. The next question was, well, how many more athletes are there? Where we're sitting at now with 450 athlete members across both the diaspora and then here domestically in Puerto Rico, they hadn't had a chance until these last 3-4 years to actually represent that in the sport of hockey.
We've more than doubled in the kids program here on the island. Hockey is now here and it's growing because hockey is a great sport and they're growing a love for the game and they're having a great time and they're developing as players and they have this opportunity that otherwise they wouldn't have had without Preha. I know that there will be great hockey players coming out of Puerto Rico. My name is Jocelyn Modal and I play defense for the Puerto Rico women's national ice hockey team. So my family and I moved to Puerto Rico in October of 2020. It was right in the middle of the pandemic. I was doing some Googling and I came across the Puerto Rico Ice Hockey Association and I found Scott Vargas, the president. He was giving an opportunity for Puerto Ricans and residents. And so I'm actually very grateful to have found him because otherwise I wouldn't be playing hockey at all. I'm able to play on the national women's team because of residency. So I have about 4 of these shirts and I wear them every day because nobody knows if nobody knows. And so I wear this shirt to my kids' school, I wear it to community events, I wear it into San Juan, and every day I have someone who does a double take on the shirt and says, wait a second, that says ice hockey, Puerto Rico ice hockey? And then I explain it to them and they're interested, and that's how we've grown the program on the island and raised awareness. So the shirt's doing good things. On Sundays, I help coach and teach the kids hockey. We do roller hockey. The kids have loved it. And it's a really great feeling to introduce a sport that maybe they never thought that they could play, but now they're playing it and they love it. This is the very first jersey that the Puerto Rican women's team wore ever. We went to the LATAM Cup and the jerseys that were ordered didn't come in. And so a few girls on the team bought these jerseys and then they stayed up all night spray painting the number and the logo. No one cared. It was just a bunch of women in the dressing room coming together, super excited to play hockey together, and we won gold. We brought it home. It was unreal. It was amazing. Everyone was just so proud and so happy. It was almost like we had been playing together forever. We were all just instantly connected, and it didn't even matter. I love it. I'm never getting rid of it.
We adopted a slogan, lo que sea necesario, which translates to whatever it takes. It's just something that was too perfect to bypass. We'll do whatever it takes to reach that next goal, to get to that next milestone, lo que sea necesario.
My family got involved with hockey because of AJ watching some series of the Mighty Ducks. He created his own stick with a broom. He started skating in the house. So I figure I said, let's see if Puerto Rico, if there's anything going on. Found the Puerto Rico Ice Hockey Association, inline skating, and here we are. My name is Jessica Figueroa, and these are my kids.
My name is AJ Mercado, and I like to play hockey.
I'm Ana Mercado, and I love to play hockey. My name is Cecilia.
And you like to play hockey?
No.
When I started, I was about 10 years old, and my father was reminiscing his childhood. And he said that there was this movie called Airborne, and we bought it on DVD, and I watched it for like a week straight, and I'm like, huh, I want to do that. And I watched a couple YouTube videos on how to inline skate, and when Mom said it was time to take them off, I didn't really want to.
I saw my brother play, and I was so bored. I was like, I'm not gonna sit here every single day and watch my brother play. So I was like, I'm playing hockey too. When I got my skates, my brother was so excited. We got the same pair, except mine were unicorn. And my brother and I made up this team, and we used to call ourselves the Butt Kickers. Interesting name.
I was trying to keep them out of the house, leaving skate marks all around the white floor. I started taking them to the basketball court where we live so that they could run more freely. But they still get in the house with the skates, but now they know how to control themselves better with the skates, and they're not running into the cabinets. They're more skillful thanks to Priha, and we're very happy with the sport. Every Sunday we go there and have a great time.
The thing about playing hockey on a tropical island is that some kids at school, like, you know, they give you a hard time, and they're like, why are you playing soccer, bro?
The sport has been growing, so here, the group has been growing, and hopefully get ice someday.
It'll probably melt.
No, then
It will not melt, but
how do they do Disney on Ice here then?
exactly.
They're in a cool place.
We recently went to New York and we skated on ice for the first time at Rockefeller.
They were skating like if they had always skated on ice, so that was impressive to see.
It was different. It was
It was
different.
difficult because we didn't have like wheels and
It was
It was
different.
very
It was
slippery
different.
though.
If there was a rink here, that would really change the game. Oh, we'd really like to, yes, try ice hockey and play on the ice.
The story of ice in Puerto Rico is both complex and somewhat simple. Over the years, there's really been two locations that have had ice. There was an extremely small facility in Aguadilla until, unfortunately, 2016 when the hurricane hit.
Mi nombre es Julio Roldán Concepción, alcalde de la ciudad de Aguadilla. Hace varios años atrás, este edificio que ven aquí era la pista de patinaje sobre hielo. Cuando este servidor llega aquí como alcalde, encuentra un edificio completamente abandonado. Había sido destruido por el huracán María, pero anterior al huracán había fracasado el proyecto como una pista de patinaje sobre hielo. Se hizo una inversión millonaria. Ahora se utiliza como un área de discoteca donde viene la familia, jóvenes y niños en familia a disfrutar la música, a dar vueltas en patines, que se proveen aquí los patines también, y vienen personas pues que les encanta esto, que lo toman como un estilo de vida, vienen a pasarla súper aquí.
The other facility is the largest arena in Puerto Rico, the Coliseo de Puerto Rico, and there was even an NHL exhibition game in 2006.
The first ever NHL or any other hockey game that we know of to be played in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
It was one of my first games ever. I'm a young kid, just drafted. We pull into the arena, and I'm just nervous as you can be. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm in the locker room, and I guess I'm making myself sick. And I remember the coach, Tom Rennie, coming up to us. Al, are you sure you can go? We don't want you to hurt the team. I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to hurt myself. Just put me in this game. My name's Al Montoya, drafted in 2004 by the New York Rangers, 6th overall.
Well, we get a chance to see these young Rangers, and we'll get a chance to see Al Montoya.
Yeah, he's great at what he does. Great at what he does. And Montoya just keeps getting better.
I packed light. I didn't know what I was bringing with me that day. I remember having to buy clothes at the hotel lobby, and being a kid with Cuban roots and a Hispanic guy, and being able to be on this island and be in front of people that appreciate a player like myself playing this game, not just because I'm a hockey player, but because where I came from. It was really special.
Get the NHL in here and spread the word about Puerto Rico and spread the word about hockey a little bit.
Yeah, they want people to know that they're active down here, they're going forward, they're forward looking.
And here are the Rangers wearing the flag of Puerto Rico in honor of this first ever visit.
Halfway through the game, they put me in, and it wasn't sold out, but I'll tell you what, I'll never forget the fans, the cheer that I got when they announced my name, Alvaro Montoya, coming into this arena, and how proud I felt. That moment I stepped into that crease, and I think it was not too much later, it was Jovanovski or somebody, a bang-bang play, puck pops out front, and I made a great save.
Oh, that was a big save by Montoya.
That's a great save.
The rest was a blur. I was excited to be on the ice, same time remembering that this is the dream that I'm trying to live out. I'm trying to make this team. I really had blinders while I'm on the island.
That is going to do it here for a first time ever in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Some nice goaltending by both Steven Valiquette and Al Montoya. Tom Rennie will take his team back to New York.
It's probably no different than the rest of our games. We finish, you get your shakes, you do your media, and then you jump on the plane, you head back to New York City. You hope you're still on that roster for the next day. It is wild walking back into this building almost 20 years later. You walk in the building, you see the Zamboni, you see the hockey net hanging. It looks as fresh as it did 20 years ago. You have the boards on the side with the lines on the boards and the potential and the growth that hockey can be in the Caribbean, in Latin America. And I know there's more to come. I know the Hispanic community, the Latin community loves sport. We love to get together. We love to celebrate. And what better place to do it in an arena like this?
Los saludo. Marilu, Chichi, ¿cómo están?
Hola, hola.
Chichi, no lo puedo creer. Meeting cousins for the first time. My family left Cuba in '63. My mom and grandparents went to Chicago. The rest of the family came here to Puerto Rico. We're gonna have probably 17, 18 in total. So, and probably 4 generations. Can you believe it, Marilu? I can't believe it. I never thought I'd see you.
We're lucky.
I know.
Tú eres la hija de Sandy.
De Sandy. Esta es la hija de Sandy.
No lo puedo creer. Oh my God.
Yo no. Pues tú eres el.
No.
Mira, pero qué cubanazo.
Mira.
¿Cómo estás? Un cubano.
No lo puedo creer.
Lo and behold, I come here to Puerto Rico, playing this game, ready to play this game. I didn't realize that I had cousins here when I came. My mom knew, but as she knew, I was going through the ringer with hockey. To reunite with my cousins that I've never met, to see my mom see her cousin that she hadn't seen in 60 years, I can't tell you enough how special that moment was. Having conversations with them about hockey.
Me dediqué a mi deporte de hockey, pero cuando tengo tiempo es para la sangre que tenemos. 1, 2 y 3. Okay, y las primas son...
Being one of the first Hispanic players, the first Cuban American, first Spanish-speaking player to ever play in the National Hockey League, I knew this was big, and I think the league knew it was big. I hope I made them proud. I worked for it each and every single day, and I want to pay it forward, whether it's my kids or it's the Hispanic community or any community that doesn't see themselves in this game today. I want to show you that I am that person that did it, and you can too. It doesn't matter where you came from or where you're going, that this game is for everyone. My work at the Dallas Stars is continuing to connect to groups that are underrepresented in our game. The way we've grown, today we're one of 5 teams in the NHL that have 1 million+ Hispanic fans. I never thought I'd see that. I was one of none in the locker room growing up my whole life. Today, I have a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old at rinks in Dallas, and I'll tell you what, they're not the only ones walking around with Hispanic last names. There's Diaz, there's Gonzalez. I see it firsthand each and every single day, breaking down barriers. The love that these kids have for sport, whether they want to be a hockey player or a fan, it doesn't matter. They want to know that this game's for them, and we're going to continue to grow that game.
Para todos que están aquí con nosotros y esos que no están, para la familia Silva, esos que están aquí con nosotros, este día yo nunca sabía que era posible, y a la familia que están aquí, todos que han viajado, salud, salud, besos.
But these moments will last forever, and I'll never forget it.
Having family from here just kind of brings the significance to another level for me. I never thought hockey and Puerto Rico would be 2 things that would come together in my life. It's definitely surreal being here, being by the ocean and being where, my grandfather grew up, but, obviously being the only Puerto Rican to play in the NHL as of now definitely amplifies that. Definitely something special. My name is Cristobal Bunieves, and I'm the first player of Puerto Rican descent to play in the NHL.
And the Rangers score! Bunieves!
I would say I was about 2.5 years old, and my parents were getting pretty annoyed with me, always scratching up our wooden floors with my rollerblades. They took me to the local rink, and they realized that I was actually a pretty good skater, so I think it was a pretty easy decision for my parents to put me into hockey. Being the only NHL player with Puerto Rican descent is an extremely great honor. Being here in Agua Dia, where my grandfather was born and raised, it really hits home. It's kind of surreal. Ironically enough, hockey has brought me back to my Puerto Rican roots. So I think that's kind of cool in the sense that hockey is such a small community, and it's kind of become full circle for myself. Now being a part of the Puerto Rican Ice Hockey Association and getting on the ice with a lot of these kids, it's cool to see, kids coming up to me and saying little blurbs in Spanish, and to know that a lot of kids look up to me and aspire to get to this level, which is incredibly attainable because of people like Scott Vargas. Puerto Ricans not having a strong background in hockey didn't have an impact on me. This opportunity has allowed me to try to have an impact on kids growing up, and all I can do is just try to grow this to the point where I'm not the only person sitting here saying I am of Puerto Rican descent and I played in the NHL.
Gutierrez moves in, backhander, score! Gutierrez with the backhander.
There's not a lot of Puerto Ricans, obviously, in hockey in general. It's just a matter of personnel. Having people like Scott, having people like myself here physically on the island helps grow the game. Hockey is a very expensive sport. Ice time, there's not a lot of availability. Here in Puerto Rico, there's no ice, so a kid can't even if he has the equipment, even if he has the financial resources, there's nowhere to skate.
Tengo que admitirte que cuando esto abrió para el público en general, fue bien acogido por la gente porque la gente quería ver el frío, sentir esto aquí, pero obviamente el costo de mantener esta pista sobre hielo era excesivo. Entiendo que no hay demanda para el patinaje sobre hielo en Puerto Rico. Nosotros tenemos una cultura completamente diferente. Esto no es un deporte que sea de los puertorriqueños típicos de aquí, pero obviamente tenemos que comenzar a educar a la ciudadanía. Y es por eso que yo creo que si debemos un ejemplo, hacer algún equipo donde se pueda jugar aquí, podemos comenzar con los patines regulares para que la gente vaya comenzando a crear ese interés en el deporte y luego podemos empezar a hablar quizás sobre hielo.
Here. So that's like,
oh, yeah.
They're playing
It's
on
like
this,
this, right?
yeah. So it's possible.
Yeah, we can try.
okay.
Do you think we can have a meeting that we can talk about that? About bring a team here, maybe make any.
Or maybe do the practice for the Puerto Rico team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sound very good that we can have here on a quick a team like that. It's gonna be
Yeah.
nice. We don't have nothing in the west side. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna try.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys number, just let
Gracias.
me know. Okay. Thank you. Have a
Gracias.
great day.
Yeah.
Let me know.
No.
Absolutely.
It takes time for this development to happen, but it needs to start somewhere. It all starts with someone having a dream.
I think one thing that we talk about as an association a lot is resilience. We feel like that's very integral to the culture here in Puerto Rico. I think hockey kind of teaches that resilience. It teaches that competitiveness. Like that's how I learned a lot of the characteristics I have today.
Once we get a permanent venue, the novelty of actually having an ice rink again in Puerto Rico, it's gonna start bringing a lot of interest. We're no longer the joke of the town. For the next couple of years, it just should grow exponentially.
How could we get ice back? We're looking to do something a little bit unconventional, similar to having ice hockey in Puerto Rico. Is there a building that can be retrofit that we can then come in and generate some interest in, which we do feel is imminent?
That once the kids step on the ice for the first time, I think that's going to be the first of many times. Puerto Ricans have thrived in every single sport where they picked up a ball or a bat. So I think that once you put a stick in these kids' hands, I think that a lot of things will change.
We're trying to find that next one that plays in the NHL. When do we develop that kid from start to finish, from Puerto Rico, born and raised, is developed here in Puerto Rico, gets drafted to the NHL, and then ultimately games played in the NHL as well. And it sounds like a crazy thought now, but we do truly believe that that will be a reality for Prija in the future. One of the most rewarding things has been seeing the moments where there might be a young kid that didn't have that connectivity to their heritage and their culture. And then all of a sudden it becomes the most important thing. It's something I can't explain, but it just immediately kind of pulls at me. And the first thing a kid is saying is, I'm Puerto Rican. It's pretty awesome. And when we give them an opportunity to put the jersey on, and that's probably one of the most amazing point in their short hockey careers so far. On the flip side, you see a grown adult that puts that jersey on and just kind of falls apart because of the pride. It's something that's very difficult to put into words, but it's something that has been extremely impactful in my life and hopefully, at least by those signals, impactful in their lives as well. That's been probably one of the most amazing parts of the journey so far, and I truly hope that it continues.